This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the October the 4th, 2022 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they might mean for the town. Council this week is chaired by Deputy Mayor Headley, who will not be deputy for much longer. As the only candidate for mayor in the upcoming election, Headley has won now by acclamation and will be the new mayor in Neepawa after the October 26th election. Congratulations, Brian. In committee reports, Councillor Nadeau reports on 3 of the committees he sits on, including items for discussion from 2 of them. The Rossburn Subdivision Trails Association will be requesting help to maintain the trails in the Rosedale portion of the trail until such time as Rosedale is in a place to resume maintenance themselves. He indicates that it is a one-time request, but the concern from Council is that once this is taken on, this duty might be adopted for the long term, which could be a significant unbudgeted expense for the town. As well, Nadeau reports that the Western Manitoba Regional Library, which includes Neepawa, is discussing increasing levies to ensure that all their employees have a living wage. Nadeau stresses the importance of having council representation on these boards to advocate for their ratepayers, as he has seen representation decrease from other areas, especially over the course of the pandemic.
Okay, council reports. Councillor Nadeau.
Yes, I've got 3 reports. 2 are rather short. The Spruce Plains Justice Committee is meeting again, so we're going to be sitting again next week. So we're back at it. After the summer, it made it difficult to hear cases. During the summer, just lots of people are just not around. The second committee I'm on is the Trail Association, the RSTA. Now, our neighbor Rosedale, they haven't been an active member lately, and because of that, the trail that connects us from here to Rosedale is a little overgrown, and we're kind of wondering if we could be neighborly and mow their trail to the Spring Hill washout, just to be helpful, to support our neighboring community and to keep the trail maintained and up for users to walk on. So that's something that the trail group has been talking about, if we can do that, if each neighbor on each side can help out this one time here to help out Rosedale while they're going through a transition right now. So if that's something we're able to do, it would be something we can explore. The third committee I'll report on is the library, which everyone's excited to hear about, I know, the WMRL. We took a moment of silence at our meeting for the passing of one of our long-term members, Councillor David Blair, who passed away. He's been a member of the library group for many years, and he's going to be very missed. There's talk about increasing the levies again, and a lot of it has to do with the minimum wage increasing. So the library group that we're a part of is very passionate about having a living wage, and it's really important, I think, that a councillor from the town here is attending at all times. I have not missed any meetings, and I think it's a good thing because there's also community reps on the board, and they have really good hearts, but they're also really easy to raise rates. So you really need to have someone actively there to advocate for the ratepayers and to kind of balance that out. So we are looking at possibly increasing our levy. One thing that came out is many councillors from other communities other than ours, they're not attending meetings that well. And that's something I can say that Neepawa, we're proud that we're always there in attendance, and we're there to represent our communities. And we had a little lengthy discussion on having all councillors from all of the communities there because it's important to get their input. So you see that with a few different types of groups where people aren't attending meetings, especially after COVID, you really notice it. So That's everything.
Okay, any questions of Councillor Noodle?
So for clarity, Neepawa, I mean, the request for Neepawa to mow the Rossburn trails?
They're supposed to send a formal request from our secretary. If we can help with cutting the overgrown grass on our side of Rosedale.
We don't want to brush mower though to take our trail
No,
like that.
Okay,
no, we've already done trail maintenance and we've extended in an extra half mile, I think, where we had staff maintaining that portion at least to ensure that the bridge crossings were safe. But anything beyond that, I'll have to inquire to see if our contractor can touch it again. I don't think this is a short-term thing. I think Rosedale has decided to abandon the trail system completely. So is there going to be funding set aside for Neepawa to maintain this on a continuing basis, or the neighborhood to the north?
you know, there are grants that we apply for and we advocate, so we think that we might be able to reimburse the communities with our trail maintenance grant. And what do you think a cost would be to mow from the Spring Hill washout?
I have to get the kilometers and we probably have to contract that out, so we want so many mowings a year on that.
Councillor Barrett?
I did Rosedale one year with Marvin Beaumont, and it entailed borrowing a tractor with a 3-point hitch and a mower, and then fixing the mower before we could use it. And it was a day's journey, and it was all right, but there's, the offshoots. Whatever you borrow, you have
Typically, commercial rates to rent a tractor, less than a mower would start at about $50 an hour, less man, less fuel, less mower. So it's a big ask. I mean, not that the Rossburn Trail's not important, but it shows how disappointing it is when a partner vacates their responsibility.
Yep, we're definitely hoping moving forward that they're going to become more active again. Definitely after the election, right?
Councillor Parrott reports on the Physician Recruitment and Retention Conference he attended with Mayor McCutcheon, which was also attended by healthcare professionals and administrators from across the province, including speakers from many different disciplines. Ultimately, he says, the solution for increasing the number of professionals in the province is not to recruit them from one another, but to increase the number of professionals being trained in the province, not just at colleges and universities, but also facilities like the proposed LPN training center in Neepawa.
Okay, so last meeting we talked about the summit that Mayor Blake McCutcheon and I were going to, and so we went. And if I can say that we were surrounded by, there was about 100 people there, and I felt very humbled to be amongst some of the brains of Manitoba from all avenues of life. The medical field was there, the provincial government was there, the Prairie Mountain Health was there, we had some heads of council there, and just a diverse group of different medical professionals. And we had a series of speakers that from all their different disciplines speak to what they knew was going on, what they knew the problems were, and what they felt would help with physician recruitment as well as physician retention. And our knowledgeable Dr. Desley was also one of the speakers who spoke very well, and Dr. David Cram was there, and he did it, he's an incredibly smart fellow. So you put all that together, and we're to be getting a summation of it, which we'll be sharing. And it kind of segues into what are the people, well, I was really lucky to be sitting with Lynette Siragusa, who was telling us our COVID report every day with Dr. Brent Rusin, and she's now the Assistant Dean of Nursing for the U of M program. And she looks like she's back alive again, which is great, because that whole COVID thing was a real hard journey. But along with that, we had health professionals, and we had a company rep for, I called it headhunting, so it's a global HR research company. And, she gave her aspect on how we could bring in physicians, but my kind of comment on that was it's more like everybody's poaching from everybody. We need to build a better discussion on that. So we met with Tim Smith of the association that represents all the lab techs and the diagnostic people today. That was with BDO Group. And, with all these put together, its bottom line is we need to get more desks in the universities and colleges that are training healthcare people at all levels. And these desks don't necessarily need to be in the college or the university. They could be in this wonderful LPN training center we're trying to get off as a council. And they're actually doing pretty good on it. So that was that. So you have to know that your whole community and town staff and medical staff, they're all working to fill this wonderful hospital that we have coming. Today, this afternoon, a young lady came to the town office, Arnie Susky's daughter, and she dropped off this binder. And this is the binder that we've seen open every third Thursday morning at 7 a.m. where Deputy Mayor Headley is sitting, and Arnie Susky has led the committee, the clinic committee, for a very long time. And with his passing, he is going to be sorely missed. He has been an incredible man, dedicating service to bring the clinic to where it is, which in turn has allowed us to have our doctor contingency. And, he's just a man full of knowledge about all kinds of stuff. And I got hit with it today when I got a phone call to solve a problem at the clinic, which he could have solved with a phone call, and I had to go in and talk to technicians and everything, and he already would have known the answer. So that's going to be an incredible vacancy in our community and in the Susky family.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Parrott. And yes, having been on that medical clinic board with Arnie, yeah, you're right. He definitely was a real powerhouse and a great addition. He's not only to the clinic, but for quite a number of organizations that he's been with over the last number of years. And you're right, he will be dearly missed. And thank you also for yourself and Mayor McCutcheon for going over to that. Certainly, Neepawa having to keep in the forefront with recruiting doctors and nurses is certainly something that we have to really keep a focus on. So thank you for that.
Manager of Operations Denise Kay addresses the question of when the paving will be completed around town. He reports that the paving crew will return the week after next to finish the streets, and they also have crews doing concrete curb repairs around town. If the weather holds, that means that the streets will be completed before the first significant snowfall. They have also been working down at the pool now that the swimming season is over, and have started the base pad for the new water slide, as well as some initial plumbing work. Sakay also announces that the compost pickup will start next week. That will be on to the Tuesday after the long weekend, and then on the regular day of Mondays following that.
Thank you. It's a little updates. Everyone's kind of anxious to find out about paving, so I inquired with our contractor, and they've informed me that the base crew is still scheduled to arrive next week, with paving crew the following week. So it looks like we'll get here before snowfall. If nothing bad happens. We also have the contractors working on doing concrete curb repairs around town. We've been working diligently trying to source and do some mowing in our surrounding right-of-ways. So looks like we've secured a contract to do that, and we should be in the coming weeks coming over to do that. For resident information, compost pickup will start next week. With the holiday, it'll be starting on the Tuesday, but after that, it'll be regular Monday pickup, and then we'll kind of see how October unfolds. These are starting to fall now, but kind of got pushed off. Residents may have noticed that pool work is seeing some action there. So we started the base pad for the water slide itself, and then commercial pool is in place right now. They're doing some of the plumbing hookups, rock ends, and then we'll have another contractor come in and do the screw piles for the slide itself. So everything's kind of moving along nicely on that one. And staff have just been busy winterizing fire hydrants, getting everything tightened up and buttoned up for the rest of the year, so things are coming along.
Yes, thank you, Dee. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the guys out working on the hydrants and that, and I know we have a whole community looking forward to that pavers.
Oh, I know.
So that is very good news.
Just a question.
Councilor?
Fire hall getting paved at the same time?
No, we're gonna push that off because we have to dig and relocate a fire hydrant as part of the RCMP spec. For the fire insurance.
2 requests for funding are received by Council. One for the Viterra Men's Curling Championships, which are coming to Neepawa in February of 2023, and the other from the Neepawa Nova's Gymnastics Club. They're looking for help to fund open gym classes for the public to try out the equipment. So this close to the election, Council felt that both of those should be handled by the new Council, though they indicated they certainly felt both were worthy projects. The other consideration is that both of these requests would normally be considered under the town's granting process. While they do have other avenues for funding when necessary, ordinarily the town receives applications to their granting program by December 31st of each year and considers them as part of their budgeting process.
Okay, so the first thing we have is from the Neepawa Fern Club and the Yellowhead Center, is from the host committee, as we maybe are aware or not. The 2023 Viterra Men's Championship is going to be held February 7th to 12th in Neepawa. So this is a major fundraiser for both organizations as they try to host this. And in the end, if there's monies available at the end of it all, they're going to split that money between the 2 partners. And they would like to welcome the town of Neepawa as a sponsorship partner, and they attached a sponsorship package here, running base card from gold to friends kind of thing, and you probably all had a chance to read it. I'm not going to read it out on, for the meeting, but just some discussion on whether you would consider being a sponsor.
Councilor Bear?
So that would be a next year's budgetable item. Could I suggest that we just leave that for the new, whatever council there is after November 1st?
Yeah, but that's absolutely up to you. So maybe just down a little more to that. Technically, we all know that the grant intake, this would be considered a grant, and it's December 31st intake for grants for any particular upcoming budget year. Our grants were all given out, so our budget was basically used up for 2022. Under your grant policy, you are allowed the ability to look at a special request based on should there be sufficient dollars in the budget that could be used to offset whatever you decide to give. So you could either make a decision now and push the cost of that into 2023, or because we are coming up with an election, you could say, let's not tie anybody's hands particularly. You could also put that into the next council's hand and look at that 2023 expenditure as well.
I definitely think that's just something for the new council. And it's tough because when you take when the actual event is, the event actually occurs prior to budget, the actual budget, and decisions will be made. So, but I mean, even discussing this right now, we wouldn't want to be seen the unfair advantage of this council spending money and whatnot prior to an election. So, yeah, definitely, I've sat on that host committee a couple times. Historically, prior to the farming project, that project was the lifeblood of the curling club. It sustained its operating losses of the facility. So yeah, it's an important event for the community. It's a good chance for us to kind of put a gold star of the community in around Manitoba, because we do see local press coverage comes into town, it fills up every hotel room, it fills the restaurants. It's a massive event.
So maybe I would just add to that, the last thing would be the fact that they need to know at least a month ahead. So I'm going to suggest by very early on in 2023, they would need to know what your decision is, because when you're sponsoring, you get, your logo in the ice, you get certain things they need to be prepared for. So even if you acknowledge you would sponsor at some value or point, we can, share that information early January to get them.
Okay, yeah, so we'll probably,
We'll table it then?
yeah, we'll table it and then take a look at, even if we're in the kindergarten or something.
The next one we have is from the Neepawa Nova's gymnastic clubs, and what they're looking at avenues to help sustain them over there, and also reaching out in the public to offer various activity. And this particular one, they're hoping to fund some gym times. Basically, it's called open gym classes for the public, and it would encourage the community to come get out, get active, have fun, try the equipment, see what it's like, see if they enjoy it. They normally charge $5 per child or $10 per family for a 1 hour open gym time. And on average, this costs the club $70 to operate, which includes expenses for the rent, insurance, and the coach. So the season did start this year in September, and it will continue till April or June. What they're looking for is, they put a monetary value on what this would cost the club if they ran this program. They're asking for a donation to go towards the cost of $1,750 that it takes to run the program. A donation of any kind would go towards their expenses, and they would be grateful if you would consider it.
Any questions?
This would probably be another one we push over to November 1st.
I would dare say that one goes into a grant, the actual formal grant application. I think there's just some, I shouldn't say confusion, but the word would be because we do a grant to the Yellowhead annually, and part of that grant, it sponsors public skating. So of that grant dollars, could a portion of that be for open gymnastics? I've participated in open gymnastics and have appreciated having the use of the facility. It's a great program. When we're looking for activities for kids throughout the year, and Neepawa is definitely, we're in short supply of indoor activities in the winter months, and that is it's another option. Not everyone plays hockey or wants to do sticks and pucks, so, I still think it would fall under the grant application like we do with baseball, like minor ball and all the other ones. I think, great program, but I think it's just the timing.
Yeah.
So we'll ask them to reapply before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Now that we are officially into fall, apparently it's time to look ahead to Christmas. The annual Santa Claus Parade of Lights will be held on Saturday, November 22nd, starting at 6 p.m. at the Yellowhead Center and proceeding down Mountain Avenue to Hamilton Street and then back up first to the Yellowhead. So the request for council is, of course, for road closures and barriers for the parade.
Santa Claus Parade, it's hard to believe we're thinking about that.
So, there hasn't been a parade for a while. There wasn't much.
No.
No, okay, so COVID kind of put a wrench in everything, even in the memory, I can't recall. So they're looking to request to have the 2022 Santa Parade lights on Saturday, November 22nd. The parade will begin at 6 p.m. sharp, starting at the Yellowhead Center, continue down Mountain Avenue to Hamilton Street, and then go right to First Street, and then turn right to Commerce Street, and then right again back to the Yellowhead Center. They're asking that anybody participate, that they hand the candy out by walkers, do not throw it from the floats, and they're wondering if NEPA will assist by approving to facilitate the parade, and of course closing streets and setting up barriers.
26th or 22nd?
It says on the 26th, it says.
Oh, it's
Saturday the
Saturday.
26th, unless this was,
No, I thought I heard 22nd. Hearing it now, it's very good.
Be it resolved that the town of Neepawa approve the closure of the streets for the hosting of the 2022 Parade of Lights to be held starting at 6 p.m. on Saturday, November 26th. Parade route starting at the Yellowhead Center, traveling south on Mountain Avenue to Hamilton Street. Turn right west at Hamilton for 1 block to First Avenue, turn right north at First, traveling to Commerce Street, and then east to return to the Yellowhead Center. All in favor? Carried.
Also covered were the regular financial reports, a few further additions to this year's tax rolls, and commendations to Kinsman Courts 2 for producing a beautiful and much needed facility. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. We'd love to know if you're watching the program and if you have any questions that we can help find the answers to. You can reach the station at 204-476-2639, by email at nactvnews@gmail.com, or on Facebook at Neepawa TV. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.